Back to Pet Brand Podcast. Today we have a truly inspiring guest joining us, Stephnie Gribble, the brilliant mind behind Canine Collection, a UK-based brand that's making waves in the world of dog fashion, accessories, and eco-friendly pet products. Since launching in January 2024, Canine Collection had quickly risen to success, capturing the hearts of dog lovers with their stylish yet functional design and commitment to sustainability. Stephanie and her team has already snagged multiple awards, including the coveted Best in Customer Service 2024 title. What sets Canine Collection apart is not just high quality dog approved products, but also Stephanie's passion for giving back to the community and making a positive impact through monthly charity donations. Today, we will dive deep into Stephanie's journey as an entrepreneur, her dedication to dogs and sustainability, and what's next for Canine Collection. So let's give a warm welcome to Stephnie Gribble. Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very well. Hope you're good too.
Great, amazing, amazing. So, Stephanie, starting with a cliche but important question: what inspired you to start Canine Collection?
At the time, before Canine Collection was even thought about, I was working in a job that I wasn't like 100% happy in. It was
Mm-hmm,
affecting like my mental health. I just didn't want to
mm-hmm,
get up for work anymore. And I thought, I've got to do something about this.
mm-hmm.
I
What
just
kind of
recently,
field? What kind of job was that?
I was in education. So
Education. Uh-huh.
yeah, it just wasn't suited to me
Uh-huh.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt the strain and the stress of the job. And we'd not long had a Hungarian Vizsla, which,
Mm-hmm.
if you know a Hungarian Vizsla, they're very high energy dogs. They need a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
stimulation. And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe like how expensive items were for these dogs. So I
Mm-hmm.
left my job with no plans. And I thought, you know what? I've got four
Yeah.
dogs. I'm passionate about dogs. And I want
Mm-hmm.
to put things on the market for people that they can afford,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to break the bank and still take care of their canines, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously it can be so expensive.
Yeah.
So obviously I did the research and of what dog industries to go into, and I kind of just fell into this one, and it's been perfect because we cater for so many dogs. Every dog can buy something or have something from our website, and I always
Mm-hmm.
make sure that the price points are fair for people and they can afford
Mm-hmm.
the best for their dogs. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's all started on a bit of a, I'm just going to leave that job and just go for it and jump straight into it. So yeah, it's just, and then it was probably down to my Vizsla because I was like, I want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
these dogs, what a like this kind of breed, have got the things they need to be stimulated. And obviously, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the items can be very expensive. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing. And starting like a startup or any business that you're starting, like we face challenges, right? So what were the biggest
yeah.
challenges you faced when you first started?
I think, like any business, it's getting your name out there and getting people to know that you're there and what you do and that you can be
Mm,
trusted. Because obviously, until you have your first customers, you've got no
yeah.
feedback. You've got nobody to say this is how good their things are, or their items, or their service. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
like most businesses, it's getting your name out there, letting people know you're reliable, that you're trustworthy, and
Mm-hmm.
that takes a lot of time. So some people don't hold on and then they quit before they've even started because they think, well, why am I not getting any customers? But it takes time and a lot of energy and making sure that you are honest and reliable.
Mm-hmm. And again, like getting a first customer, getting that first review, that's the toughest, right?
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I remember getting my first order, and it was actually from a friend. And I thought,
Uh-huh.
oh, is this all it's ever going to be? He's like my friend. But obviously, I was so thankful for that first order. When I saw, obviously, I'd got my first order. And
Uh-huh.
then obviously, people started then thinking, oh, we'll try this, try them out. And now, like, I've got people from all over the UK now
Mm-hmm.
buying our products. And yes, it's that first order. Like, you think, am I ever going to get an order? But as soon as you do, you're like, yes, we're on a roll now. Let's keep it going. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, you grew, took off like pretty quickly. So how did you manage a rapid growth after attending Crufts 2024?
obviously, I'd started in the January, and I actually only applied for Crufts in the February. Well, obviously, we all know it takes place in March. So literally, it was about
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks before the show was about to start. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to try my luck. If you don't ask, you never get. And then within about a week, I heard back from Crufts because obviously they're quite strict on who they attend, obviously with the dog shows. And there
Mm-hmm.
was like, yes, we'd love to have you there. We love your products. would you like to attend? And then
Mm-hmm.
literally from going to Crufts, obviously you meet thousands of people from all over the world as well.
Yep.
And it was lovely because obviously people were buying our items and like they lived in like Brazil or
Mm-hmm.
America. And I was like, this is amazing. Like our products are going all the way back there with their dogs. And obviously it
Mm-hmm.
helped with our UK customers because obviously they got to see our products, they got to see the quality and how good the
Mm-hmm.
prices were. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just literally took off from there. Then obviously I've had people come back time and time again now from Crufts, and then obviously they recommend it to their friends, and then we're going back to Crufts in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it was I've been all over the country. I've done lots of dog shows to get our name out there, to meet customers face to face, so you know they know
Mm-hmm.
what our products are all about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. And what do you think Canine Collection stand out from? How do you think Canine Collection stand out from other pet brand in the market?
I think it's because we are a face to face brand. You know, I like to go out, I like to talk to my customers, I like to know about their dogs, I like to know their stories, how they came
Mm-hmm.
about having their dogs. And I think that the personal touch you don't always get with like the big corporate companies because obviously
Yeah.
you go into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pet store,
yeah.
you just pick something up, you go to the counter, there's not really much conversation. And obviously because we're so passionate about dogs, we want to know about your dogs. It's not just a case of, oh, we want to sell from you.
Yeah.
We want to build friendships and bonds, and I think that's what's
Mm-hmm.
important. And I think that's why customers come back because people can message me and talk to me, and you know I'll give them an honest review, or I'll tell them honestly whether it's suitable for their dog. Whereas like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in a pet store, you know I'm not going to say any big
Mm-hmm.
names, but you know that it's just you go in, you pick it up, and there's just no
Mm-hmm.
personal touch anymore. And I think that's the problem with retail. Is like now you go in the shop and you're normally faced with
Yeah.
a robot
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
not a person.
Absolutely.
So I think
Uh-huh.
that's why it helps us as a business that
Mm-hmm.
we've got that personal touch.
Definitely. And I think this happens with every other brand out there, right? I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
even on LinkedIn, people have company pages. People don't interact on
Yes.
company pages, but people interact with the founder, right? And obviously,
Yes.
like the founder with like big corporation, like Elon Musk, they have their personal brand. So they like to
Yeah.
interact, but it feels more human. Yeah. We,
Yes. And
yeah.
I think that definitely helps in this day and age.
Definitely. And with the focus, since you have your focus on sustainability, so how do you source eco-friendly materials like recycled plastic and old t-shirts for your products?
So obviously, when we look for products, I always make sure that the items have either been made from recycled items or they can be recycled after use. So we've got harnesses that have been made from plastic bottles. We've got
Mm-hmm.
toys that have been made from old t-shirts or old
No.
materials.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this is a big factor for us. We offer a refill on shampoo, so you don't have to have another plastic bottle sent to you. We'll just send you the refill to refill up your bottles. We make sure, like obviously, our packaging is also recyclable. We're really eco-conscious on packaging as well because a lot of brands and I find small
Mm-hmm.
businesses buying loads of boxes and loads of packaging when
Mm-hmm.
really you've probably got tons of it what you've got been sent to yourself. So we do reuse a lot of boxes and stuff because if the box is in good use, we'll still use it. And obviously, I know a lot of small businesses feel like they need to have the fancy boxes and the fancy materials and all the paperwork to go with it. But really, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try and, you know, still make the packages personal to each customer. We still make it, you know, special when they open it. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the actual packaging, I'm always conscious that, you know, you can reuse a box, you can
Yeah.
reuse packaging. It's not going to hurt. It's still going to get to you safe and sound. You know, we don't print off invoices unless somebody specifically asks for one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really eco-conscious that everything that we have is good for the environment. And then also, obviously, our treats are natural,
Mm-hmm.
shampoos are natural. And we've
Mm-hmm.
even got toys that you can use in compost. So once they've been used, you can actually, they'll decompose
No.
and they're good for your soil and stuff. So, yes, it's a big thing that I focus on, especially with obviously planet at the moment and looking after
Yeah.
it as much as we can.
Yep. And talking more about your product line and the new launches, like how do you approach designing a new product? And like what does the whole process look like from having an idea and then launching a product?
So obviously with me, I need to obviously make sure everything is dog friendly, dog safe, natural. There's no chemicals in there, nothing that's going to upset any sensitive skin. So obviously it's researching the ingredients and compositions of what is suitable for each dog. We obviously do very sensitive shampoos for the dogs. So you've got poor, like, conditions with skin. And then we've got shampoos what are catered for like your dark coats, your light coats. But with us, it's just making sure that everything is naturally sourced and obviously it's approved. We have
Mm-hmm.
to obviously get everything tested. We have to get certificates for everything. It's a long process, but it's a process that's worth doing and making sure you get right, because you don't want to obviously upset a dog owner. You don't want to cause any, problems with the dog, because then obviously they're going to have to take them to the vet, which is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long process, but it's definitely one that you need to focus on properly and not do it half-heartedly.
Mm-hmm.
And then once obviously if everything's been approved, it's all been tested. Um, then obviously you go into like your packaging and your design. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a long process, because when I first started, I thought, oh, it'll only take a week or two. But actually, it takes a good couple of months, because obviously
Yeah.
you need to make sure every ingredient is
Yep.
right in each product.
Yep.
And obviously, it has to be tested as well. So, yes, it's a
Yeah.
long process, but it's definitely one worth doing if you want to do
Uh-huh.
that kind of
Uh-huh.
product for dogs.
Uh-huh. And how much like usually it takes to get it like full process done?
So the full process, so our shampoos, they took around 2.5, 3 months.
Oh wow.
Because there was me thinking, oh yes, I'm going to be launching this and telling all our customers. And I was like, well, when's it coming? I was like, soon, soon. And then like one one's turned into another, then another. Because obviously I'm still learning as a business owner. I learn
Yeah.
stuff all the time.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
what you need to have as protocols, what's
Mm-hmm.
the law, the
Mm-hmm.
guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I was
It
so
must be
excited.
chaotic all the time.
Yes. And I was just like, yes, we're doing this and we're doing that. And actually, it's going to take me 2.5, 3 months to get it done.
Uh,
And then like my customers are like, well, when's it coming? So I really want to buy it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah. So yeah, you learn a lot in business. You learn a lot. So
mhm, mhm. And can you talk about like some of the most popular products that you have in collection right now that you will frequently buy?
At the moment is definitely, because obviously in the UK it's getting cold now, so our coats are flying out, our fleeces, because obviously we want to keep our dogs warm and cozy throughout the winter. We still want to walk, even though the weather here is horrendous. Although today is actually beautiful here, which
Uh-huh.
doesn't happen often. So coats are very popular at the moment just because of the season. Our treats are always a top pick. We always have
Mhm,
multiple orders for treats throughout the week, just because obviously we know that what we're selling and providing are the best treats out there for dogs.
mhm.
Toys as well. Everyone's always after a toy that can't be destroyed, and unfortunately, it doesn't exist. Every toy can be destroyed by the right dog, but
Uh-huh.
toys are always a firm favourite. And actually, we've had a lot of Christmas stuff going out at the moment, so people are getting very prepared for Christmas by the looks of it. I've had jumpers go out, harnesses go out, and we've just
Mhm,
launched our own advent calendar. So that's become very popular as well. So yeah, it's a good mix.
mhm.
But you just never know what's going to come in the next order. So
Yeah.
yes, but those are the top picks at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing. And we were talking about your awards, multiple awards, right? So since
Yeah.
Canine Collection has won multiple awards, first of all, congratulations for that.
Thank
And
you.
so, like, what does it feel like? What does that recognition mean to you for like your in terms of your business or your personal success?
Yeah. So even like for me, for just being nominated and being noticed as a small brand was
Mm-hmm.
more than enough. But then
Mm-hmm.
obviously to go on and win some of these awards, it was quite emotional, because obviously not everybody realizes the time it takes, the determination,
Yep.
the
Yep.
grit,
Mm-hmm.
the family time that you sacrifice,
Yep.
the nights that where you're up till midnight because you're sorting out invoices or emails, or there's a lot that goes into a business. It's not like when you're self-employed or start a business, you just work
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5, you work 24/7, 7 days a week. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'm always on hand to my customers as well. Obviously through social media, they can contact me anytime. So I think when you win an award, you just like, it was worth it. Somebody's noticed that the hard work, and like when I'm up for an award, everybody in that category deserves to win. Everybody, on because we all do the same thing day in, day out.
Mm-hmm.
So to just even be noticed is more than enough. But obviously, to then go and win, you're just like, thank you, because I know now that those late nights, those early
Mm-hmm.
mornings
Mm-hmm. That really paid off.
have
Yeah.
all been worth it. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's just to keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't win, I mean, I've been up for awards and we haven't won, and I thought, you know what, just being noticed was more than
Mm-hmm.
enough. And
Mm-hmm.
more people then get to see your business and know your business. So whether you win or not, it's all
Mm-hmm.
help grow your business. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very
Mm-hmm.
thankful to all the awards that we've won so far.
Mm-hmm. And what like how it directly affects like growing a business, like again getting these awards.
So obviously, when you win awards, I think it does help with customers to know actually this is a business that I can trust and are reliable and I can go to, and it opens up opportunities to meet new people and network with people who are like-minded. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
until you're self-employed and you run a business, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to meet people who understand what you have to do every day.
Yeah.
So obviously, I went recently to an awards, and it was for business women, and it was so lovely to just be in a room full of other women who just got
Yeah.
it and understood,
Mm-hmm.
how much you sacrifice and how much
Mm-hmm.
effort and time, and
Who have the
sometimes you're
same
just tired.
mindset.
Yes, and I think that with when you do awards and you go and meet the people, it really makes you think, what, this is something that I can do because all these other people can do it. And, we're all here to support each other. So it does open up new doors. And obviously, I
Mm-hmm.
have people then contact me saying, oh, would you like to come to this award or would you like to come to this event? I've
Mm-hmm.
been invited to go and have dinners at business meetings and things. So it does open up opportunities. So if you've got a business, it's something I definitely recommend either if you want to nominate yourself or somebody nominates you. But it does open up a lot of avenues, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Moving forward with the question, what do you think is the secret to building a loyal consumer base in this competitive pet market?
I think it's being honest. For me, I do. Obviously, we've got a range of massive toys, for instance, and I test all the toys on my own dog. And I've had customers say to me, "What's this toy like?" And I'll be like, brutally honest. I'll say, "Well, what's your dog like? Do they destroy stuff within 5 minutes?" And I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Keep away from it then." But what I do recommend is this. And I think that's what's kept us going is I'm very honest with our toys and our products. I won't lie to people about things because I know that that's not going to let that customer come back to me. They won't really, they won't trust what I say anymore. So, we do tough toys and we do soft toys and everything in between. But I'm very honest with our products. And if I'm not happy with them for a tough dog, I will say to that person, look, I know it's a lovely toy and you probably love it for some photos and a bit of playtime, but it's not going to last you. I
Mhm.
recommend this one. And I think that's the key to a successful business is being honest with people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, because I've got a tough dog, I can test these toys out and test our shampoos and, see how good our dog smells. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
honesty is definitely the best policy when it comes to having a business.
Mhm. Amazing. And I was going through your LinkedIn and I saw a post like you also like sponsoring football teams, right? That's
Yes.
such a unique initiative, right? So how
Yeah.
did that partnership came about?
Well, what it was, I saw a local football team who were after a sponsor, and I've got
Uh-huh.
children of my own what play football, and I know how tough it can be for these teams if they don't get a sponsor, that they don't have a kit for the season, or they haven't got the money to get the training kit in that they need.
Uh-huh.
So obviously, I saw that they needed sponsoring, and I contacted them, and I was like, I know this might be a bit of a different business,
Mhm.
but I would love to sponsor the team. And they was like, yes, please, that's amazing. I think they may have been a bit worried that there was going to be a big dog on their shirt. But obviously I think our logo is actually lovely.
Uh,
And then obviously I announced it to everybody that I'd sponsored this team. And then I had a friend from school from years ago messaged me saying, well, our children's team really need a sponsor. And I says, that's fine. I says, I'll sponsor your team as well. So we
mhm.
sponsor a girls under 14s team
Okay.
and we sponsor a boys under 8s, I believe they are now, football team. And you know what? I think it's important that we support the next generation's dreams and hopes,
Mhm.
So for me, it was an easy yes. And
Mhm.
it's just nice that, as a business, we've been able to give back to the
Yeah.
community.
Mhm. Amazing, amazing. And you, talking with you, I just feel like that you clearly prioritize customer satisfaction, right?
Oh,
So, like,
yes.
how do you handle both positive and negative feedback that you get?
Well, that's the thing with business. You can either take negative feedback and ignore it, and but with me, I'm very hands-on. When people have contacted me and say something's not been quite right,
Hmm.
I'll always rectify it as quickly as possible. If I've accidentally sent the wrong item, because I am human, we make errors, we make mistakes. I'll
Hmm.
always listen to the customer. And I think that's what's important is don't fob them off. Don't say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
Without your customers, you don't have a business. So
Yep.
your
Yep.
customers are your, they are your priority over
Mm-hmm.
everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's not to take things personal with obviously with dog items, because every person who has a dog has got their own taste or their
Yeah.
own, feelings on stuff when it comes to their
Mm-hmm.
dogs, because obviously they're not just dogs, they're their babies.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
I
the dogs
never,
have their own personality. They are
yeah,
different. Yeah.
exactly. And I think what it is with when you have negative feedback, or, I've never really had a customer that's been awfully like, oh my, this is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's either usually things don't fit or anything like that. But I think it's not to take it personally. You've got to face up to things and not hide under the cart, like under the rug, and say, I'm not going to face this, because
Yeah.
then word spreads, and then before you know it, you can make a business fail quicker than you can make it a success. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, I mean, feedback are important, right? I mean, how will you grow? Then you will stagnate if you're not getting feedback and you're not applying what the customer
Exactly.
says.
But that's the thing, you never grow without constructive criticism. That's why I take everything what's negative or positive as a constructive, feedback, because I can learn as a business owner, because I'm still learning every day. I learn new things about business. I learn new things about dogs. I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to sit here and say I'm a dog expert, because I'm not. And all of us as people are learning more about our dogs every day. So it's definitely, don't be ignorant to the feedback. Take it on board, learn from it, and say, I'm not going to do that next time. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's face it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can you share any memorable customer interaction that really touched your heart?
Yeah, I've had quite a few, to be fair, because obviously throughout the dog shows that I've done this year, obviously we've gone to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
rescue centres, rescue homes, or they've been raising funds for charities, obviously. So we
Mm-hmm.
get to meet a lot of rescue dogs. And I do remember going to the one, and then did a parade at the end of all the rescue dogs. And I just stood there and just started crying. They put this music on, what was so sad. And then like all these happy dogs. And I was just like, I was in floods of tears. And people must have been thinking, is she okay? But it just made you realise how lucky we are to have these, dog. Well, I hate calling them dogs. I don't know why. Furry friends, or and it was just so nice that they'd been given a second chance, and they'd got these new owners who were
Mm-hmm.
loving them. And yes, it's always sad to hear the stories, but it's nice that there's been a happy ending. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I understand running a business requires a lot of grit and determination, right? So if somebody is listening to this podcast, listening to this on LinkedIn or anywhere, uh, they want to start a pet brand. So like, what advice would you give them to these aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah. First thing is, do your research. You can jump on like Google's and whatever and say, what's the top dog businesses? And a list will come up, and you'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. But you really need to research things.
Mm.
You need to research, like, is that going to work? How much money is that going to take? How much time is that going to take?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to design something, how long is that process going to take? If I want to start a business tomorrow, is that realistic? Is it going to take me 3 months, 6 months? So definitely research, definitely do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Stick to what you know. Obviously, don't start one business and think, well, actually, I'm going to add this on and I'm going to add this on. So focus on one thing at a time,
Yeah.
and then grow into other industries, like in the dog business or any other business. And I think that's for any business, focus on what you know first and then grow from that. Don't put too much in your basket until you
Mm.
know what you're doing. And the main thing is to just keep going, because some days you'll feel like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You might not feel like your friends or family supporting you, because it's really hard being self-employed
Yeah.
and starting a business, because not everybody who you think will support you does
Mm-hmm.
support you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the key is, as long as you believe in yourself, just keep going for it. Write
Mm-hmm.
everything down, think realistically. Obviously, we've all got dreams and we all think, oh, I can do that, I can become that. But you've got to be
Mm-hmm.
realistic with
Yeah.
yourself as well,
Yeah.
and say, is this feasible? Am I going to earn a living from it? How am I going to be different from everybody else? How
Mm-hmm.
am I going to stand out? How am I going to market myself? There's a lot going into it. Am I okay doing my tax returns? People just think, oh, I'm going to start a business. I'll set up a page
Mm-hmm.
on like whatever
Mm-hmm.
website, and that's it. but
Yeah.
there's a lot to it. You need to
Mm-hmm.
research
Like
everything.
once you start getting into it, then you start realize, okay, there's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have to realize what competitors you have. Say, for instance, I
Mm,
don't do it myself, but for instance, if you want to be a dog groomer, you have to think, well, how many dog groomers are in my area?
mm,
How much competition have I got? Is this something that people need in the area? How much is it going to cost me to set the business up? How much is the items and
mhm.
the tools that I need? So you've got to be practical. And although we've all got dreams, you've got to be realistic about
Yeah,
things. And at
yeah.
the end of the day, you need to make a living from it as well. So, is it going to be profitable?
Mm,
So yeah, write everything down, research it, speak to people in the industry, reach out to people, even on like LinkedIn. If you see somebody who does something similar to what you do,
yeah.
drop them a message. There's a chance they'll message you back and say, look, stay
Mm-hmm.
away, or, yeah, go for it. And it's listening to other people's advice as well. But obviously, keep to your own
Mm-hmm.
thoughts of, the direction you want to go in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, starting a business is chaotic. So, like, like, how do you juggle your time between managing canine collection and focusing on your personal life?
Yeah, so obviously I have got a very busy lifestyle. I've got children, I've got a family, I've got my 4 dogs. I also walk a neighbour's dog every day because unfortunately she can't walk anymore. So that's nearly 40 minutes of my day gone as well. So yes,
What's
juggling
the
is
age of your dog?
so there's a lady who I live with, she lives in my village and she's in her 80s now. And when she had a dog, she was fine, but she can't walk anymore.
Oh.
Um, it's quite a funny story though, because I found her dog wandering the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whose is that dog? I found the number and it was this lady. And obviously, when I got to her home, she says, I can't walk her anymore. And now for the last year, I've walked her dog every day.
Oh.
So, besides my own 4 dogs, and I walk this
Mm-hmm.
lady's dog, got the children, got a home to run. But
God.
I think it's just managing your time of, certain things you've got to do. So obviously I've got to take my children to school. That's a time that I can't work on the business. So I
Mm.
always try and split my day through what's realistic.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's some days that I don't post a lot, and that's okay. Your business isn't going to just end because you haven't
Yeah.
posted 20 times on
Uh-huh.
Instagram.
Yeah.
That's reality. And you just have to prioritize what you need to do each day. Like every night before I go to bed, I write down what I need to do the next day.
Yeah.
So at least as long as I get those done, I know that
Uh-huh.
I've achieved what I need to for that day. And if I don't get those other bits done, it's okay. The world's
Yeah.
not going to stop. My business
Mm-hmm.
isn't going to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important to make sure you find time for yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, I've got a very good support network of, like family who I can rely on. And obviously, I do a lot like Crufts. Crufts takes up a whole week of my life. So it's just good that I've got the support there that I need. And I think that's very important. But don't think if you haven't got the support that you can't start a business, because you can start a business. It's just it might be a little bit tougher in other aspects for you. But yeah, I do manage most days. Some days I'm like, what am I doing? But it's all part of it. It's part of life. It's learning balance. And
Uh-huh.
that's probably the toughest part of being a business owner is time, because
Yep.
before you know it, your day's gone. And like social media, like when I'm trying to do posters
There's
and
always
and
something at the end of the day. There's always
yeah,
something. Oh yeah, this I should have
yeah.
done
And
that.
like obviously designing stuff to post on your Instagrams or your LinkedIn,
Hmm.
it takes so much time. And I can
Yep.
see why people do it as a full-time job, because it takes a lot of time. And before
Yeah.
I know it, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, it's time for bed. So yeah, that is definitely the hardest part of running a business is time is not your friend.
Mhm. Yep, yep, yep. And in the fast-paced world of pet retail, right? So how do you stay ahead of industry trends and consumer demands?
So for me, I do a lot of research, even though I feel like I'm an established business. I've still got a lot of places to touch upon. Obviously, I want to go into wholesale and all that kind of stuff. But I think what it is you've always got to be doing your research. Even though you feel like you've got a good enough business and you're plodding along nicely, you've got to keep ahead of it. So, like obviously, I go to events and trade
Yeah.
shows. I see what's
Mm-hmm.
coming up, what's coming
Mm-hmm.
out next. I jump on the internet, and see, what ideas are coming out for people. And I
Mm-hmm.
try and obviously get ahead of it. So obviously I'll contact people, or obviously if I'm designing my own stuff, it's just making sure you keep on top of research, because with dogs, it's forever evolving. We're learning more about them all the time. So
Yeah.
there's always new products coming out. There's new ideas, it's just the list is endless when it comes to dogs. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that you keep on track of doing your research, finding out what's going on. And I do that nearly every day, to be honest. When I go out walking with the dogs, that's usually when I'm like, walking, and the dogs are, because obviously they're off their leads, and I'm
Yeah.
like researching what's, or I'm looking at Crufts and what's going on with them. And
Uh-huh.
obviously with like my TikTok and stuff and things like that, I do a lot of advice. So obviously I talk about health issues, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously a lot of people don't always necessarily know about things. They're not saying that these dog owners shouldn't have a dog, but it's like when you first buy a dog, you're like, oh, it's dog. But now
Yeah.
what do I do with it? So
Mm-hmm.
you've got the love, but sometimes you just need a bit more help with the knowledge of things. And even I do, I learn stuff and I research stuff about dogs all the time. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a crazy world, but I love it. It's, yeah, no day is the same.
Uh, Definitely, definitely. As you all know, that pet industry is booming. So how do you think it will evolve in the next few years?
Well, I think obviously because we're learning more about dogs and how they work, and we've come a long way in the last 50, 60 years with dogs,
Yeah.
and learning
Yeah.
their behaviors and their traits and what they need for stimulation. And we think we know a lot, but we've still got a lot to learn. I
Mm.
mean, I've got a few ideas for some new products that aren't on the market yet. I think just because obviously when you go out with your dog, you think, oh, actually I could really do with something, what could do this for me. So
Mm.
I've got a few ideas up my sleeve, but I'm excited to see where it goes, because obviously there's every part of a dog's life is evolving, from play to sleep
Yeah.
to food. So it's, I think it's going to probably be one of the biggest industries in the next couple of years, with different aspects of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the ideas that people come up with, it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and I just feel so thankful that we can cater for our dogs
Mm-hmm.
in ways that they deserve to be catered for, or
Mm-hmm.
stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes along.
Good,
But
good.
yeah, I've got a few ideas of my own. I'm not going to discuss them too much, but yes, we'll
Yeah, yeah.
see
And
if
also,
they come about.
yeah, yeah. And also like all these research going on, right? That people are not having kids. They're not marrying.
Mhm.
They are adopting dog because at the end of the day, a human being needs some emotional connection, right? So do you think that
Yes.
this is something that's gonna be in the next few years gonna be like people are not marrying, but like they're not having kids, but they are having dogs? Do you-
Yeah, I think it's really weird, because obviously when you think about buying a dog and a puppy, you're like,
Mm,
yes, that's amazing. But I think until you actually do it, you don't realize the connection that you have with a dog.
mm.
Um, and the thing is, they love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
And that's why, so that's all they want to do, is that all they want to do is love you and you to love them. And I think for a lot of people, life's different now. There's so much more like opportunity. So they don't want to be tied down with 5 kids or a mortgage, and they'd rather just go in a camper van with a dog and go traveling around wherever they want to go. Um, but yes, I think in the next life I'd only have dogs. No, I'm joking. I love my children very much, but I can see why, because they just make you smile even when you're feeling down or depressed, or
Yeah.
you've had a really rubbish day at work. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
better than sitting on your sofa and cuddling up to your dog, and you just know all they want is you.
Yeah.
And for some people, a dog ticks all the boxes. So I can see that probably happening more in the future. Like, I've got friends who've never had children, and they've either
Mm.
had cats or dogs,
Yeah.
and that's their babies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I can't. Oh, yeah, I think if I had a choice, I'd probably have about 100 dogs living with me.
Like,
But I've been restricted to 4. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to sneak another one in at the moment, another rescue. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen yet.
Uh, Great, great. So what do you like who has been your biggest inspiration either in business or life in general that got you inspired that hey, I want to go in an entrepreneurial journey?
I think it's like a lot of the time is obviously looking at like other business women.
Mm.
Obviously I don't want to say men aren't good businessmen, because men, I think with men and women, I think men lead with their head, women lead with their hearts. But I
Mhm.
think what it is, it's listening to other people's stories, and like, the way they've overcome things, and having the support from them. And it's being around the right people, to keep yourself going and pushing through. Um, and it's like with the business world, like I keep saying about women, but it's crazy, because obviously women haven't had a long time to be business owners. You know, we
Yep.
couldn't work
Yep.
for so long, we couldn't
Hmm.
vote for so long.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to see more women out there and men, you know, take the leap and just know that, you know, you can do it. And it doesn't matter what the voices say in your head or the people around you. But I think for me, it's definitely being around the right people. And, you know, like when I jumped on LinkedIn and there's like posts what come up, and sometimes it's the right post at the right time.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
somebody's posted a quote or an inspiration, and you're like, yes, this is why I'm here today. This is why I'm still doing it.
Hmm.
But yeah, the business world is crazy.
Yep.
Um, but I think once you're becoming self-employed, like I could never now go back to a job where somebody
Yeah.
was my boss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Because I'm also self-employed, right? So I just cannot think that somebody's ordering me to do this and this. It is tough. It is tough. It's really
Yeah.
because once you have, because I have my own team, right? So once you have that power, like, okay, now I can control
Yeah.
things. Now I can be the, steering wheel. Like, I can go in this direction. I can go in this direction. My team will go
Yeah.
with it, right? And then like transition from that to a job
No.
person, that will be like
No.
difficult.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think once you've done it, you just could never go back. And
Yeah.
it's like you say, it's because you're in control, you're in power. You
Mm-hmm.
know what's going right. You know how
Mm-hmm.
to change things.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does go wrong, there's only you to blame as well.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep,
know.
yep. And also the impact is so high, right? You know, like if you are going to go in the wrong direction, like if you're not focusing on the things, then things will go
Yes.
wrong, right? So
Yeah.
impact is like very relative. The more you
Yeah.
are working on it, you will see the results, and the less you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good.
I get it.
Amazing, amazing. So what can we expect next from Canine Collection? Any big plans on the horizon?
Yeah, so we are going to be expanding our product line. I'm not going to go too much into detail,
Yeah.
but yes, it does involve some treats and stuff like that, and we're in the process of getting things in motion with that again, but it takes time. So I don't want to reveal too much, but yes, we're going to be obviously expanding certain aspects of the business. We're in the middle of obviously designing our own toy range.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, within 2025, I'd like to be going into wholesale. So, obviously, supplying our products as a wholesale rather than me, you know, selling them on my website,
Mm-hmm.
offering them obviously to people out there who'd like to sell them on as wholesale. We want
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot more charity work. I'm now in the process of starting up our own foundation
Mm-hmm.
for helping people who are mainly on the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who've got dogs, because even though they're on the streets, they tend to love their dogs more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we want to help if their dogs need vaccinations, if they
The
need
the
worming, any
basic
kind of
things.
treatment,
Mm-hmm.
just to get that strain, like that pressure off them. Because, you
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of these people on the streets are looking for their next meal, and I don't want them to have to worry about if their dog's going to become ill. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we've got to take it to the vets, and, you know, because for a lot of them, that's their companion. That's, you know, the people who get them through every day. So we're in the process of doing that again. That's a long process, a lot of paperwork, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to
Yeah.
sort out. So we're hoping by 2025 that's up and running and we can help more people. We're going to attend more charity events this year, donate every month as we do. And we
Mm-hmm.
donate gifts and items to raffles and, you know, these companies who do big days and stuff. So yes, it's exciting. We've got a lot going on. Hopefully, we'll sponsor a few more teams, perhaps not just in football, but, you know, in other sports like rugby or, you know, whoever need it. But that's the thing, we always reach out to our customers and say if there is anybody out there who knows of, you know, this. And we've
Mm-hmm.
just also started our Christmas donation. So what we're doing is everybody who donates for our Christmas donation, we're actually doubling it. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if they buy a pack of treats, we'll donate 2 extra packs of treats.
Wow.
And then we're going to find some homes around the UK this Christmas to help them with the strain. Because obviously at Christmas, a lot of dogs get given up.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, for us, although, you know, I am running a business and it is my living, we do want to give back as much as I possibly like we can, because, you know, I love every single dog. So
That
I
would
want
be
them
difficult.
all. Yes. So
Great. Last question from my end, Stephanie. What's one thing you wish people knew about you on your business, Canine Collection?
just that obviously that we're here. You know, it's mad how many like events and shows that I've gone to, and people still be like, I don't know about you. You know, I think that's the thing, it's getting our name out there, getting people to know that we are here, that we
Mm-hmm.
offer these amazing products, that you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go bankrupt to buy the stuff that you
Yeah.
need.
Mm.
And that we're also here for help and advice. I speak to people all the time, and they're not necessarily my customers, but they'll come and ask me, advice about their dog. And although I'm not a vet or a specialist, I'd say, like, I recommend you getting this for them. Perhaps obviously they're bored in the house and that's why they're destroying your sofa, or
Mm.
why they keep chewing your shoes, or so it's not always necessarily that I want people to buy from us, but obviously just to know that we are here to help and we're
Mm.
passionate about dogs.
Mm.
um but yes, I think it's still getting the name out there, because we've only been running now, what is it, 10 months we're into, going into month 11 next month.
Yeah.
So we've still got a lot of places and people to reach. And the thing is, once people do know about us, they do tend to become repeat customers, which is fantastic. And I'm so thankful, because we obviously, without them, I wouldn't have
Mm.
a business. And that's always
Mm.
something you've got to remember as a business owner.
Great. Amazing. Amazing. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. A huge thank you to
No,
Stephanie
thank you. It's
Gribble.
been lovely.
Amazing. For joining us and sharing her incredible journey with Canine Collection. It's been inspiring to hear about the passion and care she pours into creating not just fashionable and functional products for dog, but also a brand that prioritizes sustainability and community impact. And if you're looking to treat your furry friends to something special while supporting a business that gives back, be sure to check out Canine Collection. All the link will be in the description. And don't forget to follow them online to stay updated on their new product launches and upcoming projects. So yeah, thanks again, Stephanie. Again, thank you so much
Thank
for hopping on
you.
the call.